Good morning. I want to remind you today that how you start your day matters more than you realize. Every morning before your feet even touch the ground, you have the power to set the tone for your entire day. You can choose peace over anxiety. You can choose gratitude over frustration. You can choose faith over fear. When you wake up and take a moment to thank God for the breath in your lungs, for the strength in your body, for the purpose in your soul, that's not just a routine, that's a habit that unlocks favor. You're not just getting up, you're rising up in victory. You're starting the day with intention, not reaction. You're setting the thermostat, not checking the temperature. And that habit, it can shift your whole life. Now, you may have challenges, you may have battles, but here's what you've got to do every morning. Speak victory before the battle begins. Don't wait for everything to go your way to start celebrating. Go ahead and declare, this is going to be a blessed day. I'm anointed, I'm equipped, I'm empowered, I'm rising above, not staying beneath. When you talk like that, when you believe like that, you're planting seeds of strength before the storms even show up. So don't let the world wake you up. Let purpose wake you up. Let peace guide you. Let joy be your fuel. Make it a habit every morning to align yourself with faith, to choose hope over heaviness, to believe that today is not just another day. It's a gift, a new beginning, a divine opportunity. Remember, victory doesn't start when the problem ends. It starts when you decide to face the day with faith. Keep rising, keep believing, and start every morning with the power that's already inside you. Your morning sets the thermostat for your day. This isn't just a nice sounding phrase. It's a spiritual truth that has the power to transform the direction of your life. Every morning when you wake up, you are given a choice. You can choose to rise up in faith with a heart full of gratitude and expectation, or you can step in the day feeling defeated before anything even happens. The moment your eyes open, the atmosphere around you is neutral. But what you speak, what you think, and how you act in those first moments will determine how your day unfolds. You are the one who decides whether you're going to walk in peace or panic, hope or heaviness, purpose or passivity. That's why developing strong, positive morning habits is one of the most powerful things you can do for your spiritual life, your emotional well-being, and your destiny. Think about it. When you set a thermostat in your home, it controls the temperature. If you set it to warmth, the heater kicks in even if the weather outside is cold. In the same way, when you start your day in prayer with gratitude, declaring truth over your life, it's like setting your internal thermostat to peace, joy, and victory. The circumstances around you might be cold. People may be rude. Traffic might be frustrating. Bad news may come in. But if your thermostat is already set, you're not controlled by what's happening around you. You're grounded by what's happening within you. Too often we let the day dictate our mood. We check our phones before we check in with God. We jump into the noise of the world before we sit in the presence of peace. And before long, we're reacting to life instead of leading it. But when you get up and take just a few moments to pray, to speak life over your day, to read a scripture, or simply thank God for the gift of breath, you are setting a divine thermostat. You're preparing your heart to stay steady when things get shaky. You're anchoring your soul before the storm even arrives. This habit isn't just about religion or ritual. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your thoughts, your heart, and your spirit are all flowing in the same direction toward purpose, not panic. And it doesn't take hours. Just a few intentional minutes each morning can make the difference between a chaotic day and a calm one. That time you spend declaring, this is the day the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it, has the power to push back fear, silence doubt, and make room for God to move. Sometimes we think we need to wait until things get better to feel better. But the truth is, when you build your mornings with faith, you begin to change things from the inside out. You may be able to control everything that happens today, but you can control how you enter into it. You don't need to wake up and feel afraid of what the day will bring. Wake up expecting God's favor. Wake up looking for His goodness. Wake up knowing you've been equipped for everything that's ahead. When you do that, you don't just change your day, you start changing your destiny. It's easy to underestimate the power of small habits. You might think, What difference does it really make to say a prayer, to thank God, to declare a scripture in the morning? But what you're doing is building spiritual muscle. You're training your mind and your spirit to respond with faith instead of fear. And over time, those habits stack up. They build resilience. They create momentum. They open the door for miracles. The enemy would love nothing more than to steal your peace first thing in the morning. That's why your mind suddenly fills with stress, with everything you have to do, with what could go wrong. But you have the authority to speak back and say, no, I'm not starting this day with fear. I'm starting it with faith. I'm not stepping into the day with worry. I'm walking in with worship. That shift, that choice becomes a habit. And that habit becomes a lifestyle. And that lifestyle becomes a testimony. Your thermostat sets the temperature not just for your own soul, but for your family, your workplace, everyone around you. When you walk in peace, others feel it. When you walk in purpose, it lifts the atmosphere. You don't even have to say much. Just your presence, filled with light and confidence, begins to shift things. But it starts with your mornings. It starts with what you do when nobody is watching. It starts with setting the thermostat even if the room is still cold. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to feel perfect to do it. You don't have to have everything figured out. Some mornings you may wake up feeling tired, discouraged, or unsure. That's okay. You can still choose to speak faith. You can still choose to smile and say, I don't know how it's all going to work out, but I believe something good is coming. That little act of faith is what activates heaven. That's what gets the spiritual heat flowing. That's what keeps you moving forward. You weren't created to live by reaction. You were created to live by intention. And your mornings are the launch pad for that kind of life. So before the world tells you who you are, remind yourself of who God says you are. Before the headlines fill your head, fill your heart with truth. Before your calendar takes over, take a moment to give your schedule to the one who orders your steps. This kind of life doesn't happen by accident, it happens by habit. But once you build it, it begins to carry you. Even on your hard days, your habits can lift you. Even when you don't feel strong, your spiritual routines can remind you that strength isn't a feeling, it's a promise. So tomorrow morning and every morning after, don't just wake up. Rise up. Set the thermostat of your heart. Declare who you are. Speak life into your day. And watch how the peace, the purpose, and the presence of God follows you everywhere you go. Speak victory before the battle even begins. That simple act of faith can shift the entire direction of your life. Too often, we wait until we see the breakthrough, until the problem is solved, until the healing shows up before we speak words of faith. But that's not how God designed us to live. We are not meant to walk by what we see. We are meant to walk by what we believe. And belief is not proven by how you respond after the victory. It's revealed by what you say before the first sign of change. When you wake up in the morning, you may not feel victorious. You may feel tired, anxious, uncertain about what's ahead. But that's the exact moment when your words matter most. That's when you need to speak life, not based on what you feel, but based on what you know. You know that you are more than a conqueror. You know that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You know that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Those truths don't become real just because you say them once. They become real when you start declaring them every single morning, especially when you don't see anything changing. There is something powerful about a voice of faith in the middle of silence. When you speak victory, you are calling things that are not as though they were. You're doing exactly what God did in Genesis when He said, "Let there be light," while the world was still dark. He didn't wait for light to show up. He spoke it into existence. And you, as His creation, carry that same authority in your words. Your morning declarations aren't just motivational sayings. They are spiritual weapons. They shift the atmosphere. They move the enemy back. They align your heart with heaven. The truth is, your words have power. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And every day you have the opportunity to prophesy over your own future. You can wake up and say, this is going to be a terrible day, or you can say, this is going to be a blessed day. You can say, I don't know how I'll get through this. Or you can say, I've got everything I need for today. Strength is rising. Favor is coming. Doors are opening. It's not about pretending the problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let the problems have the final word. Some people think faith is only about waiting, but real faith speaks. Real faith doesn't stay silent in the face of fear. Real faith lifts its voice and declares, I may be in the valley, but I'm not staying here. I may feel weak, but I know God is strong in me. I may not see the way, but I know He's already made one. That kind of speaking creates momentum. It moves you forward when everything else is trying to hold you back. You've got to stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you start speaking like a victor. Start now. Start today. Right in the middle of your uncertainty, speak with certainty. Right in the middle of your struggle, speak with strength. Get up every morning and declare, I am who God says I am. I can do what He says I can do. Today is not just another day. It's a divine assignment. I'm on purpose. I'm walking in favor. I'm covered by grace. When you do that, something shifts inside you. Your emotions start to follow your declarations. Your spirit begins to rise. And you start to see the day differently. The enemy doesn't want you to speak victory. He wants you silent. He wants you complaining. He wants you rehearsing your pain and speaking your fears. Because he knows that as long as you're speaking defeat, you're agreeing with him. But when you open your mouth and start declaring faith, you break that agreement. You stop partnering with darkness and start partnering with light. That's when chains break. That's when peace comes. That's when things start moving in the spiritual realm. Don't underestimate the power of your morning words. What you say first can shape what happens next. Before the phone rings, before the emails come in, before the problems show up, speak victory. Don't let the news, the noise, or the negativity write the script of your day. Write it yourself. Get up and say, today I'm walking in joy. Today I'm choosing peace. Today I expect good things. Today I'm going to see miracles. Even if nothing around you changes immediately, you're changing. And when you change, your world starts to change too. Sometimes the greatest battle is just believing that something good is possible. And that's why you've got to keep speaking, because your words are seeds. You may not see the fruit today, but that doesn't mean the seed isn't working. Every declaration of victory is planting something in your future. Every morning you say, I'm blessed, I'm healed, I'm growing, I'm protected. You're watering those seeds. And eventually what you've been speaking in faith will show up in your life. It takes discipline. It takes intention. But once you build this habit, it will carry you through the darkest valleys. When everyone else is panicking, you'll be calm. When fear tries to creep in, you'll already be grounded. When the battle gets tough, you'll have already decided the outcome, because you didn't wait until the middle of the fight to speak. You spoke victory before the battle even began. There's something sacred about the quiet of the morning. It's a blank canvas. And what you speak over it matters. Don't let your first words be fear. Don't let your first thoughts be worry. Take that time and fill it with faith. Say what you want to see. Say what God has promised. And then walk into your day knowing that heaven is backing your words. Even if you're in the middle of a storm right now, this principle still holds true. Maybe you're facing sickness or financial stress or relationship struggles. It may seem crazy to speak victory, but that's the moment it matters most. Don't wait until the storm passes to praise. Praise in the middle. Don't wait until the door opens to declare favor. Declare it in the hallway. Don't wait for the healing to say you're whole. Say it now, because you're not speaking based on what you see. You're speaking based on what God has said. And what He says is final. He says you are chosen. He says you are blessed. He says you are more than a conqueror. Let that be the script for your mornings. Let those promises shape your perspective. Because when you speak victory, you're not just encouraging yourself. You're aligning with heaven. You're stepping into agreement with the one who holds the outcome. And that kind of agreement moves mountains, opens doors, and changes lives. So tomorrow morning, don't wait. Before the world starts talking, let your spirit speak. Speak victory before the battle even begins. And watch how that habit builds strength, brings peace, and ushers in the breakthrough you've been waiting for.